Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're plunging into something huge, the job market. It feels like it's changing, well, faster than you can even think about updating your resume, right?
Absolutely. It's evolving at an incredible pace.
And what our sources are showing us, it's like a really profound shift. It's not just about hiring more people anymore. It's more about um, deploying smart systems.
Exactly.
Systems.
So our mission today is really to unpack why learning to build and manage these AI agents,
Mhm.
why it's becoming so critical. It feels like maybe it's an opportunity you might be missing out on if you're not paying attention.
Well, what's really striking is how quickly this is just becoming the new normal. You see remote work expanding, sure, but at the same time, companies are really starting to prioritize automation, often over just adding more human headcount for certain kinds of tasks.
Right. So it's not like jobs are just evaporating.
No, not exactly. It's more like how the jobs get done is fundamentally changing. Roles are shifting, moving away from doing the manual stuff towards overseeing and directing these automated systems. Okay, overseeing them.
Yeah. And that brings up a really vital point. If AI tools are taking over specific tasks, then the individuals who actually know how to direct those tools, how to use them effectively, they become incredibly valuable.
More valuable.
Think about the examples the sources brought up, like a recruiter. Instead of spending days, literally days, wading through hundreds of resumes, now they can use an AI agent, get a top shortlist in, what, minutes?
Minutes. That's a huge difference.
Or the small business owner example. They can set up an AI chatbot. Suddenly, it's handling customer queries 24/7. It's like adding to their team without actually hiring another person.
That's a really powerful distinction you made, automating tasks, not necessarily replacing people if you know how to use the tools. Actually, I was chatting with a friend, she's a recruiter, and she said something really similar. What used to take her like 3 solid days for one role, resume reviews, all that. Now, with some AI help, she gets that qualified shortlist super fast, like minutes, just as you said.
Hmm.
So is this kind of speed up happening everywhere? Or is recruiting just, particularly suited for this?
It's definitely becoming widespread. I mean, it's hitting lots of areas. But yeah, some sectors, like recruitment, customer service, even marketing, they're seeing the effects earlier, maybe more dramatically.
Why those specifically?
Well, they tend to be very data heavy,
Yeah.
right? And often involve tasks that are pretty repetitive.
Yeah.
So they're ripe for automation. And if you think about what an AI agent really is, it's basically a digital worker. You program it to do specific things on its own.
Like managing calendars or.
Exactly. Or personalizing sales emails, or handling that first wave of customer support questions. And the reason this matters to you, listening right now, is that if you can learn to build these agents, or even just customize them, you're not just like future-proofing your job, you're actually creating new ways to add value, maybe even generate revenue.
Okay, new revenue pathways. That's interesting. We talked about efficiency, saving time. That's clear. But are companies finding like unexpected ways to actually make more money using these systems beyond just cutting costs? What are the sources saying there?
Yeah, and that's where it gets really exciting, actually. The sources point to cases where AI agents aren't just speeding up the old sales process. They're finding totally new customer groups or identifying needs the company didn't even know existed just by analyzing data differently.
How does that work? Like an example.
Well, one company used an AI agent to sift through customer support tickets and chat logs, looking for patterns, pain points. And it found something they hadn't noticed. It led them to create a whole new microservice, a new product offering. And that brought in significant new revenue they just weren't expecting.
Wow, okay.
Another example involved AI dynamically changing prices or product bundles, in real time based on what the market was doing. And that directly increased how much value they got from each customer. It's like AI helps you spot opportunities hidden in the data.
That really shifts the thinking, doesn't it? From just saving money to actively generating new income. But okay, for a lot of people listening, the phrase building AI agents probably sounds, well, super technical, maybe intimidating, like you need to be a coder or something.
Right.
The sources mention drag and drop. What does that actually mean in practice? Are we just clicking boxes together, or is there still like some complex logic we need to figure out? What makes them smart if you're not writing code line by line?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's less like traditional programming, definitely. Yeah. Think of it more like building a really smart flow chart, or maybe like setting up rules. You're defining sequences. If this happens, then the agent should do that.
Okay, like decision trees.
Exactly. For more advanced stuff, yeah, you might be selecting pre-trained AI models for specific jobs. Like, You might choose a model that's good at understanding language for customer service, or one for recognizing images if you're doing inventory.
Yeah.
You're essentially designing the agent's brain structure, its workflow, its decision process, using building blocks. It's more about logical thinking and design, less about knowing Python syntax. That framing, logical design versus coding, that probably makes it feel much more accessible for a lot of people.
Hmm.
Kind of reminds me of maybe the early days of web design tools or platforms like Shopify. The people who jumped in early and figured it out became really valuable. It sounds like that's the kind of moment we're in with AI agents.
I think that's a really good analogy. Yeah.
Yeah. That kind of shift.
But it does raise a question. Even if jobs aren't disappearing wholesale, what about, well, job displacement? That's a real concern for people whose tasks are being automated, especially if they find it hard to adapt. Do the sources talk about that? Is this transition maybe not so smooth for everyone?
It's definitely a valid concern, and yes, the sources do address it directly. They acknowledge that while new kinds of roles are popping up, there's going to be a period of, well, pretty significant reskilling needed.
Right. Reskilling.
The focus really has to be on learning proactively. The people who embrace these tools now, who learn how to manage AI systems, they're the ones who are going to thrive. The displacement is mainly hitting the repetitive tasks within a role, but that does mean people need to shift their skills. It's about moving kind of up the value chain, from doing the task to designing and managing the system that does the task.
Okay, managing the system. That makes sense. It sounds like incredible leverage for businesses, small and large. But are there common, hurdles or pitfalls when companies actually try to implement these AI agents? Do the sources mention anything about, say, the learning curve being steeper than expected, or maybe integration headaches?
It seems the main challenges highlighted aren't purely technical, especially with the newer, more user-friendly tools. It's more about strategy.
Strategy? How so?
Well, sometimes companies might jump in and deploy an agent without really nailing down its exact purpose.
Yeah.
Or they don't integrate it smoothly into how they already work. It's not enough just to have an AI agent. You need to make it a smart, seamless part of your whole operational system.
Gotcha.
So the sources really stress that success comes from, first, having a crystal clear idea of the problem you want the agent to solve, and second, understanding exactly how it fits into the bigger picture of how your business runs.
So if I can just drag and drop an AI agent, does that mean I can finally get my coffee machine to automatically order beans when I'm running low?
Well, maybe not quite that easily for the coffee machine just yet. But the underlying principle points that way for many tasks.
Okay. But seriously, where's the line between these complex professional tasks we're discussing and just everyday automation?
Yeah.
What's the bigger picture here, societally? Are we actually heading towards a future where almost everyone is a manager of systems instead of a direct doer?
The trend certainly seems to point in that direction. Human work looks like it's increasingly going to be about oversight, strategy, creative thinking, solving the tricky problems, while the AI agents handle the stuff that's high volume or repetitive or needs massive data crunching. The sources really imply a workforce that's much more analytical, maybe less focused on the manual execution side of things.
Yeah.
And this shift is happening, whether we actively choose to engage or just sort of watch it happen.
Right, and that's the core takeaway, isn't it? This fundamental transformation is underway, like it or not. The choice really facing you, the listener, is, are you going to watch this from the sidelines, or are you going to actively figure out your role in it?
Exactly. It's about making that choice. And, this leads perfectly into a crucial point the sources bring up. There is a clear path forward if you want to engage. They specifically mention a network called joingps.com.
Joingps.com.
Yeah. It's set up specifically to help people learn how to actually build these AI agents, how to deploy them effectively, and importantly, how to profit from them. They teach this framework they call GPS. It stands for People plus Systems plus Automation.
Okay. People, systems, automation.
Right. And the key thing is it gives you access not just to the tools you need, but also to really comprehensive training. And maybe most importantly, a network. You're connecting with other entrepreneurs, tech folks, business owners who are already doing this. So the idea is you're never trying to figure it all out in isolation. You're learning alongside others who are actively building in this space.
So support and practical steps.
Exactly. Which really brings us back to that final powerful question for you listening. Are you going to watch this whole evolution unfold? Or are you going to take the steps now to build the skills to actually lead it?